make a change for once in my life. It's gonna feel real good. Gonna make a difference. Gonna make it right. As I turn up the collar on my favorite winter coat, this wind is blowing my mind. Street, but not enough to eat. A sonorous disregard, a broken bottle top, and a one-man soul. They follow each other on the wind, you know, 'cause they got nowhere to go. That's why I want you to know I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. And no message could have been any clearer. If you wanna make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make a change. Na 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 na. I've been a victim of a selfish kind of love. It's time that I realize there's someone home, not a nickel to love. Could it be really pretending that they're not alone? Oh, well, oh, deepness God, somebody's broken heart and a washed out dream. They follow the pattern of the wind, you see, 'cause they got no place to be. That's why I'm starting with me. I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. And no message could have been any clearer. If you wanna make the world a better place, take a look at yourself, then make a change. I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. And no message could have been any clearer. If you wanna make the world a better place, take a look at yourself, then make that change. I'm starting with the man in the mirror. Change his ways. No message could have been any clearer. If you wanna make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make the change. You gotta get it right while you got the time. Now you close your mind, then you close your mind. That man, with that man, that man, that man, that man, that man, that man, you know, that man, you the man and clever. If you wanna make the world a better place, take a look at yourself, then make a change. Na 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 na. Gonna make a change. It's gonna feel real good. Some more. Just to live yourself. You know, you got to stop it yourself. Make that change. I gotta make that change today. You got to stop with yourself. You know. You got to move some more. You got to stand up, stand up and live yourself now. Make that change some more. You know it. Make that change.
Tell you, ladies, I amuse myself. Hello, good afternoon. How the devil are you? Isn't it great? Look, I've got a bag strap. I haven't even got a bag. If you want to get one of these for somebody for Christmas, they're on offer. So hurry up. What are you doing? What are you playing at? Look, every now and again, this argument comes around full circle, and it comes around to how dare you? How dare you control my speech when I just want to give props to men? And it just keeps happening, and it's the same argument, and it keeps happening. And I'm just going to articulate for you my views on this. I'm not any individual, because I think there's many people that try and bridge this divide, this idea that you can separate the man from his behavior. So the absolute cornerstone of my belief is that trans is not an identity. It's not a real thing. It's not an identity. It's a set of behaviors. And when a man tells you he's trans, what he's telling you is he's telling you how he behaves. So I think if you take care to remember that's what that means, and it doesn't mean that he has gender dysphoria. It doesn't mean that he's thought really earnest like this whole life, and he's just really nice. He's just such a nice guy. He just wants to use women's spaces. Yeah, he doesn't want to hurt anyone. Doesn't want to be an imposition. He just wants to use our spaces, our languages, and walk about this world dressed as a costume of a woman, right? Dressed in a costume of a woman. But he's harmless. He's so nice, and he's funny, and he's clever. He's articulate. He joins in. He does go on the television and totally overstep boundaries and makes women uncomfortable. And actually, in his private life, he did wear his wife's underwear, and his wife did get an injunction out on him because he was like a really creepy, disgusting, vile bloke. And in the divorce settlement, one of the things that the judge says is please, dear, for the love of God, will you stop dressing as your wife? Or, he's harmless, and he's lovely, and he's such a great mom. But, yes, he does dress like his dead wife who died of cancer, and he left her while she was dying, and then he's dressed as her ever since she was. Yes. Okay, fine. He's a great guy. He's really great. He just looks for his mother in everything he does. He's so earnest. And he tells me when he's 45, before he ever started dressing as a woman, when he started doing that at 45, he said he's always felt like this since he was 4. And he just wanted to play with girls' toys and stuff, and his parents thought it was fine. He just wanted to chop his penis off, and he remembers that being a fixed and unchanging thing since he was 4. So, they're nice. They're nice. Let me just tell you what I really feel about this. I don't think there's any such thing as gender dysphoria. Now, let me explain that for you. I think that some people, through fetish, regular narcissism, trauma, but there is something that compels them to focus on one aspect of their body or their life, or like their breast, for example. A lot of girls get rid of their breasts. They don't even think about getting rid of their vagina. They might want a penis, but they don't think of getting rid of their vagina. Like they might be, and I feel it's a narcissism in a kind of, I can't have what I want. There's that element to it. I can't have what I want. And I want this thing, and I have no concept of what that thing is, but I want this thing. Now, I'm not even saying that sometimes children don't feel like this, but usually children feel like this, and those thoughts come and go, and they explore them on their own, and they don't have dim-witted parents around them who take that seriously. And I think that is also something that's going on. So it's this fixed idea of something that you can alter about your life through trauma, plain old narcissism, attention seeking, or sexual fetish. And clearly, I'm not saying that children have sexual fetishes, but we know that they do bed in when you're children. And I don't actually believe any man who is a sexual fetishist had any notion of anything to do with that some furious lunatic might call gender dysphoria. I don't believe that those men really felt like that at all. I think it's part of the dishonest lie bullshit that they tell people so it doesn't seem so bad. I mean, what are you going to do? Hey, wife, I just want to tell you earnestly, since I've been masturbating stupidly, like an near constant basis to pornography where there's men with tits. I now want to be one of those men because my arousal is so much down in this little cul-de-sac, I can't come out. In fact, you really repulse me, but you fancying me as a lesbian, turn on. So if you can just do exactly as I say, that'd be wonderful. I mean, they're not going to say that, are they? They're going to say, I've lived with this for so long. It's been with me for so long. And I actually, what I can't do is I can't live with myself any longer. I will kill myself if you don't let me masturbate in your pants. That's so so that's what they do. And it's like, oh, all I want to do is I just want to wear nail varnish. I mean, you wouldn't stop me doing that, would you? I mean, men can wear nail varnish isn't just for women. Men can wear it too, and it doesn't change who I am. Just because I want to present to the wider world that I really enjoy wearing women's clothes and I'm more comfortable, apparently, aroused by wearing women's clothes, just because I want to do that doesn't, I should be able to dress how I want, and it doesn't make any difference, right? So that's kind of where we are. We are at this point where these men retrospectively pretend, because they're manipulative, right? They are the same as everyone else. And what happens when you elevate those men's voices is exactly the same as in any social situation where you kind of ignore hundreds and hundreds of women and you put forward this one male voice. And you treat them as if their run-of-the-mill opinion is more valuable than women's. I mean, it's the patriarchy, right? I don't even believe in it. But you see women doing it all the time. It's just like fawning over any other man. It's just exactly the same. That's why I won't do it. Because I don't think that there is a single man in this fight who knows better than I do about any aspect of this fight when it comes to women. Clearly, I'm not a gay man. I will give up to James Dreyfus and Mr. Menno when it comes to what's happening to gay men and how gay men feel about it, right? But when it comes to anything to do with women and how women feel about this, I just don't think there's a single woman or person on this planet that knows it better than I do. And certainly nobody with a penis. So that's just what we're talking about. So I just want to be really, really clear that those men are men, and only by thinking that they are a different category of person as opposed to a man with a set of behaviors, do you treat those men any differently? Because otherwise, they're just men. They're just men. Now, I happen to really, really like men. In fact, in many situations, I might prefer a man's kind of unemotional or unkind of manipulative, still very emotional men. I might prefer that to sometimes the way that women behave: covert, dishonest, bullying, exclusionary, gang forming, group forming, ostracizing, gossiping. Those things I find particularly difficult to deal with because it's not my bag. It's not the way that I do things. I'm much more direct. Anyway, that being said, let's not talk about me all day. So I just wanted to really explain why, whenever a woman bows her head to this ideology in any way, shape, or form, she is simply acknowledging that when a man speaks, it has more weight than a woman. Okay? That's all she's saying. She can't help it. She doesn't even know she's doing it, but that's what she's doing. That's the if you've ever been in a group and of women and a man comes in it, all of a sudden he's the funniest thing they've ever met. Right? So I don't even think it's how we socialize. I think it's just the way that women are. I don't even think it's socialized. I think it's just the way that we are made almost. So anyway, what I thought I'd show you this afternoon is how these men are the same as all other men. And when somebody talks about a man who calls himself trans, I want you to bear in mind it's a behavior. Always just go back to that. It's a behavior. He's telling you about his behavior. He's not a different anything. He's just a bloke telling you about his behavior. And then I want you to be able to really, really, really clearly see always what these men are, who they are, and how they manipulate. And how what they often manage to do, and I've seen it a couple of times over the last week, different people, what they often manage to do is they manage to make women stand on the other side to those of us who hold the line and refuse to compromise. And by compromise, I mean surrender. And then what happens is those men will be what they do is they then adopt this very rational persona. I know, look, I know I'm a man. Yeah, I'm called Janet, but I know I'm a man. Yeah, I've got fake breasts, but I know I'm a man. And these women are just hateful. These honest, quite frankly, I'm with you, because these women are just hateful, and they are actual transphobes. Because they hold the line. So that's where we are. So let's have a look at this delightful fellow.
This is Alyssa. She fell in love with Andrea. When they started dating, Alyssa was a cisgendered man known as Kevin.
No, Alyssa is still a bloke called Kevin.
But early in their relationship, Alyssa revealed that she had a secret.
Kevin, ask yourselves, right? When you're thinking about these men and their trans identity, trans people. When you're thinking about these men, trans-identified men, men, how many women do you know with this?
Told me in the beginning, before we were married, that she liked more feminine things.
Although Andrea has accepted Alyssa for who she is, not everyone agrees with her choices.
We came out publicly to the world on social media. Most of the comments are about hell and God. It's not that we left the church left us.
And today, Alyssa will introduce herself to a close friend for the very first time.
I mean, this is just it, right? I mean, I do think this happens with men. So if you think about any woman that you know, married, now I'm going to make some sweeping statements here, so maybe you'll get cross, maybe you won't. But let's say a woman's got a hobby. It's normally not particularly expensive. And let's say she loves cycling, right? Men who love cycling have like 2-3 grand bikes. They have really expensive, like nutty, unaffordable bikes. And they have the special pedals, and they have the special shoes, and they have the special lycra, and they have all this stuff. Now, sometimes you might get a woman in some sort of marriage who also cycles. Her bike won't be as expensive, or maybe her husband, by virtue of wanting to buy himself a really expensive bike, might buy one for her. But if she was the only one cycling in that household, she ain't having a £2,000 or £3,000 bike. In fact, she's not going to spend as much time on a hobby either. Now, I'm not saying whether that's definitely a good or a bad thing. I'm just saying that when men have hobbies and interests, they take up much more family time. There's much more time out of that family for that man. And also much more out of the family finances. Now, that's just from everybody I know. Might be totally different for you. You might be in a household where your hobby totally absorbs everything that you do and more of the family finances. For example, and I don't think my husband ever would have stopped me, but I have never used big like time. Obviously, there's loads of time, But in any hobby that I've had, it's been incremental kind of spend, or it's been my own money. I certainly would never have bought myself like a £4,000 or £5,000 camera when I used to do quite a lot of photography.
I'm anxious a little bit is going to be important. Stephen!
I mean, have you got one of those? Have you got one of those, ladies? Have you got like loads and loads of light mirror things and a whole room full of wigs and dresses and just for you with pampering makeup and so on?
Good morning. I'm Kevin, and this is my beautiful wife, Andrea. And for 26 years, we have been living privately a transgendered life.
Hi, I'm Alyssa. I'm transgender, and this is my wife, Andrea.
Jesus, she looks like a hostage, doesn't she?
I'm Andrea, and when Alyssa came out to me, it really strengthened our marriage.
At the beginning of this year, we decided to be more.
I'm going to tell you again, this is my theory on strengthening marriage thing. These men have a massive, great big secret that absorbs loads of their time, and they probably get angry when they can't spend time doing it, and they're probably quite disengaged, and they probably, the women probably think that there's something massive going on, right? So they're probably not very helpful. They are very much men, as in probably don't do very much of the housework, don't do ironing, don't do washing, don't have conversations, don't talk about feelings, don't cook, don't clean up, those sorts of kind of 50 years ago men. And then what happens is when they tell their wives are so relieved that they're not having an affair. And what those men do is in their new fake dress up is what they do is they then talk to their wives as if they're human beings, and they become, in order to get permanently affirmed and validated, they behave like they think women behave, and it's all a performance. So he's not really listening. He's just playing the role of a woman, you know, with his little stilettos and his skin tight little skirt and his hair. And he's not really listening to what his wife's saying, but he is able to move his hair and head tilt and perform being a woman. So that's my theory on why sometimes these wives then think that everything is just wonderful. And they've been married for all this time. I wonder if they've got kids.
More public and come out and see what that felt like is in our family dynamic.
Don't use bullet points in a presentation. Look, if you are responsible for driving new sales into a business,
I'm gonna get a little sauce for mine.
Tabasco.
You want some Tabasco?
Some Cholula.
Okay, well you're.
Holy shit. There's his kids. Oh. 2 daughters. Wonder how old they are. Wonder when he decided to tell his wife. Wonder if, like so many men, it was either when she was pregnant or when those daughters hit puberty.
You're in the right place. You're in the right place for that.
We still told the oldest when she was 18 because we were going out more, we were living more. We knew that they were going to find out sooner or later.
I had been worrying about that conversation for 18 years. I thought, how am I going to explain this to my kid? She was so, amazing, and she.
Oh, God. Oh, isn't it awful?
She called me shortly after I told her and said, hey, would you be interested in going and getting our belly buttons pierced together? And so that was the first time that she saw me dressed. I was in together. To my kid, she was.
So he just tells her.
Was so, amazing. And she called me shortly after I told her and said, hey, would you be interested in going and getting our belly buttons pierced together? And so that was the first time that she saw me dressed. I was in Vegas and they were here, and they came from Utah, went to Vegas, and we met, and she saw me dressed for the first time.
Sometimes they'll call me Alyssa, and I'm dressed, but if I'm not dressed, always dad or Kevin. So they refer to me how I'm presenting.
All right, so this is where the magic happens right here.
Oh, he's got a whole room.
This is where I get ready. This is where I store most of my stuff. So yeah, so right now what I have to do is I have to swap this bra for this binder that I'm wearing that's holding my chest.
All right, time to get
So basically, oh God, it's so bad. He's been taking hormones now. And he told his daughter at 18, and he's been waiting 18 years to tell her. Oh.
Dolled up.
Yay. All right, I stole one of your tools today, so I had to bring it
Good.
back.
Yes. Did it work? Yeah.
Yes.
The old eyelash trick. I love that we're doing the same tricks, babe.
I was introduced to Alyssa through my best friend who married Alyssa's brother.
I think that there was some chemistry right out of the gates.
Kevin told me in the beginning, before we were married, that she liked more feminine things and she was more attracted to that way of thinking. I really didn't have any concern.
I'm sorry, mate, but that's not feminine thinking. Getting your rocks off wearing women's clothes is not feminine thinking.
I started doing things that I thought were important as a woman and introduced her to some of those things that were important to me.
She created some experiences for us and for me. It just led to the most beautiful relationship because it was honest and authentic and it was vulnerable.
I think if it would have been like nowadays when people come out,
How can it be authentic? How can there be anything authentic or real about a man wearing a wig, putting a wig on, and wearing a costume? How is anyone remotely thinking that this is normal or not a fetish?
out and say, okay, babe, we've been married for 20 some years and I want to be a girl. I think it would be harder for me that way because I was able to basically go through the whole transition with her. Now we can share clothes, we share makeup. Alyssa was able to help me see that it doesn't matter. Just if you feel okay, if you feel beautiful, do it.
Yeah, take hormones, pretend to be the opposite sex. Like this, I mean, it doesn't matter. It's absolutely fine. I mean, it's respectful, right? It's respectable. It's deserving of all that. It's wonderful, isn't it? Just great. Yeah, just do it. Just, make sure you are permanently sexually aroused wherever you go, Kevin.
When I look in the mirror and I see Kevin, I'm just like, that's just not honest.
You will see the transformation. You'll see the glow in her eyes that is not as...
Yeah, it's called pre-orgasm euphoria. That's what it is.
present with Kevin.
Harrow,
And when he's this is annoying. And when he's Kevin, he's just counting down the hours before he can put his fetish back on again.
Oh, you look so cute. I love it. Aww, so cute. I love you.
I love you.
Hi everyone. We did a live tonight and I got several questions that I answered several times, but the question just got asked even more times, so I just want to go on and kind of reiterate the answers.
We came out publicly to the world on social media this year.
Well, we live stream twice a week.
Well, most of the comments are based on religion. The truth is we don't get a ton of bad comments that are not about hell and God and some scripture and whatever.
No, I
So
read the comments while we're live, and there's a lot. I'm talking about the mean, like full on. If you go in the bathroom, you'll come out in a body bag.
Yeah.
Those I like to scroll past.
Don't you feel like a lot of the negative comments, though, are more like, don't go in the bathrooms, we want my daughter safe, you have no right in sports, I mean, some of those things are real concerns, and those are the things that we need to address.
He's a reasonable man. Deserving of respect, don't you think? I mean, yeah, he's dressed as a fetish, but he thinks that maybe girls are allowed sports.
They're legitimate questions, and we just need to answer them. We were both raised in the church, and the church has played a very significant part in our lives. It's not that we left the church left us.
No, you left the church. I mean, I'm not religious, but you definitely left the church. I mean, if you're walking around this world pretending to be something else, pretty sure there will be something in the Bible about, being sincere to who you are. I mean, unless you think that God made you and put you in the wrong body and also gave you children, but also wanted you to be a woman. I don't think so.
One morning we woke up and there was new doctrine that said if you are in this community, if you're transgender, then you will have restricted membership. So there'll be those ceremonies, the temple, there'll be rights and privileges and places that you no longer.
Well, mate, that's religion, isn't it? You do adhere to the scripture. Surely that's part of being a man of faith. Is that actually God doesn't go, well, okay, all right, as it's you. Surely that's the deal. If you want, I don't know, if you want salvation, then I guess you have to play the part of a actual believer.
Longer have access to. And
Look at Justin Welby. He managed all this time without believing in God.
all of a sudden faith wasn't enough.
Same with me, because I support Alyssa.
Yeah, you can't even
I don't have
support.
any of those rights anymore. It was kind of hard for me because I thought, well,
because I sort of thought that I could have a relationship with God and Jesus. It was totally on my terms. And I really didn't understand that the whole church wouldn't change to everything that I want. It was so strange.
aren't we taught to love thy neighbor? Well, I'm supporting my spouse.
Can I just say, if I was ever religious, I would be Old Testament. I am more like brimstone, hell, raining hellfire, fire and brimstone, wrath. I'm more that rather than love thy neighbor. I'm a little less. I'm more eye for an eye than turn the other cheek.
And because of that, I can't go participate in the church or the temple.
This community
Yes, that's right.
has really reached out and said, hey, I know you're in a tough spot and I know the church's position, but I want you to know that we still care about you and we still love you, and I'm sorry. It's really exciting that a former boss of mine is going to meet Alyssa for the first time. I'm anxious a little bit. It's going to be important, and there's just no...
How are you doing?
Stephen!
Hey.
How are
Oh, Stephen, that's such a great poker face. He's thinking, what the heck? What the heck?
you? Can you believe
Well,
this?
how are you doing?
Well, we've been in a lot of meetings together and never one like this.
No, you're fired, but well done.
Wow. So are you disappointed? What do you think?
Yeah, you're a little prettier than I expected. To be honest with you, I mean.
Oh God. Anyway, that's what we're talking about, ladies. What we're talking about. They're those men. They're the gaslighters. They're the family wreckers. They're the manipulators. They are the coercive control. They are those men. And if you want to absorb those men into your conversation, center them, some might say, then that's up to you. And I absolutely, profoundly, strongly disagree. So that's all I'm saying. It becomes really, really difficult, I think, when you decide that there is a middle ground, because there's not a middle ground. You start with middle ground. You start with, well, some of them, some of them are rational. They're fine. You start with calling them Janet and Debbie. You might start that. You might say, well, what's the harm? He just wears clothes like a woman would wear clothes. Why can't he do that at school? Bigots. And then you end up with grown men in changing rooms where women and girls are showering. That's where you end up. It's not difficult. It's not a difficult, logical place to end up. That is where you end up. So, just saying, I'm an ultra for a reason, and that's because I hold the line, and that's fine. I'm a woman that will be impacted. I have children who will be impacted by not holding the line, and some women aren't impacted, and that's also understandable. We can't all hold the line, but as far as I'm concerned, there is only one way to fight this, and that's no compromise, none whatsoever. It's the thin end of the wedge. Any tiny compromise is just surrender. So, and just in case my fans, Mr. He, Him, KC is listening in Australia.
What a day this has been. What a rare mood I'm in. Why, it's almost like being in love.
And then for all of you hate watchers,
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's the nicest thing that anyone's ever done for me.
it's got to be done now. It's just got to be done. It's too much fun for me not to do it. If you can see exactly where we need to be and how we need to do it, and frankly, it's my way. That is the way. It's my way. I'd like to be one of those women that says, it's all great. It's all wonderful. Everyone doing what they can is so good. No. I do it my way. It's my way. My way is the best way. My way is the most logical way. My way is the way you can all speak the truth. My way is the way that we get this shit out of schools and out of everywhere that exists that poisons. So it's my way. If you can do things my way. Rebecca, I haven't seen you for ages. Well, I know you've probably been here, but I haven't noticed. And I have been looking. Band United, as always. And Rebecca, thank you so much for moderating the chat. You are both angels. So if you can do it my way, then I promise we will win. If you can ensure that at no point do you bow your head or take your knee, then I promise we will win. And do you know why else we're going to win? Well, people, it's because I never lose.
What a day this has been. What a rare mood I'm in. Why, it's almost like being in love. There's a smile on my face for the whole human race. Why, it's almost like being in love.